I believe based in Brittany. It's northwest France, isn't it? No? Yeah, very good. Lionel, recently podcast interview with Lionel and his colleague Susan, and actually it's going to be dropping later this week if you want to have a listen. But and it's going to be entitled Black Magic, and Lionel will from Cabot will explain a bit more about that. Over to you, Lionel.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so. Yeah, my name is Lionel Petton, for those who don't know me. I'm Senior Technical Service Manager at Cabot Inkjet, so making the link between our customers, our technical team, and the plants. So I would say I have rather wide view on the market. I'm going to talk today about our pigment dispersions, what we have and what we bring to the market, and also make a link with regulatory support, especially in the view of packaging and food contact, which is quite important for this type of application. First, I think a lot of people know Cabot, but I had some people yesterday, today, also not completely familiar with the company. So just as a recap at a high level, so Cabot is a US-based company with the headquarters in Boston. Our EMEA headquarters is in Schaffhausen in Switzerland. We are present in more than 20 countries. With about 38 different plant locations, so we have the sales about 4 billion last year, 4,300 employees worldwide, and we're quite an old company, founded in 1882. The main product, of course, Cabot might know is for carbon black, fumed metal oxides, so a wide range of different applications. Inkjet being the smallest part of the business, but it's still seen as a growth business where the Cabot is reinvesting for the future. At the core, actually Inkjet is not new also at Cabot. We've been in Inkjet for 30 years now. We were really at the very beginning, more for office printing, commercial printing, and so on. And packaging is for us, we see a lot of potential for the future. And the core and the breadth of the know-how at Cabot is really particle science. We are really a company which is really around particle science. Our expertise is about designing particles, controlling the surface chemistry, and making sure that it's the right fit for the application that our customers have. We also have the widest and the broadest portfolio of dispersions on the market in terms of technologies. So our dispersions are all water-based, so we're not active in UV or solvent, but in water-based we really have a unique portfolio. So on the left-hand side here, you will see the surface-modified dispersions, where we actually bring a functional group on the surface of the pigment. This is electrostatic stabilization, so it makes sure that your pigment cannot come back together, that you do not have things like flocculation, sedimentation. It's very stable systems. You will be able to formulate with a wide range of ingredients and really get stable systems. On the right-hand side, you have the encapsulated polymer dispersion. In that case, you use a polymer, so you have more an electrosteric stabilization system. Again, it also provides a very stable system, compatible with a wide range of ingredients that the ink formulators need to use to formulate the ink. Our dispersion will be quite simple. They will just have pigment, water, and maybe some other small additives, but in the end, the idea is to give flexibility to the ink makers and to the OEM partners formulating their own inks to use the ingredients they need for their application. So both technologies are quite complementary. It will depend on the application, or it can sometimes even just depend on the preference of the customer. They might prefer to work with some type of chemistries, and you might choose one or the other. And this flexibility really gives us a chance to find the right balance and to make sure we always have a solution to offer to our customers. So where we are, just as a recap in the chain, in the value chain for packaging. So we are actually starting in the two first columns. So where we stop is where we make the dispersion. So the raw materials, right, is selected by us. We produce the dispersion because there's a chemical step. We are a chemical company. So there's really chemical synthesis there needed. And our customers are people formulating the inks, but obviously what we do, because we sell the colorant, is very important for the end application. We need to make sure we have the right products for the converters, or for the, here we mentioned corrugated packages, but actually you can look at different, we're involved in the whole value chain, I would say, in packaging. So our dispersions, again, they provide really an ease of use, wider formulation space. You can tune your ink. You don't need to make a new dispersion because they're stable in a lot of different conditions, to make sure that you can tune the ink in function of your application, for example. One key feature that we have, and I will mention here, is, for example, the redispersibility of our system, so that the pigment, because it's modified on the surface, will come back very easily in suspension, especially with surface-modified chemistry. And this will really help to avoid issues during printing, like clogging of the printheads. It's much easier to recover if for example, some inks is drying on the nozzle of the printhead. Okay, so we understand there's a lot of very complex and a lot of elements that you need to cover, right, to make a stable ink and to be successful in your application. It not only needs to be stable, you need also to have flexibility in your formulation. You need to prevent things like sedimentation, as I just mentioned. Also, the stability and the compatibility with the printhead is very important. The reliability, there was a lot of talk about sustainability, but if you have a lot of downtime, for example, because you have a lot of issues and you need to do cleaning, etc., that's really a big issue. So that you want to make sure that the printer can be used as often and as much as possible. The last one is the regulatory compliance. It's also very important in packaging, because packaging, you're covering also food packaging, and that's a very big topic. So at Cabot, obviously, we don't make the ink. We are more at the beginning of the process. But what we do really has an impact on the performance and on making sure that the product or the ink process can meet the compliance around food packaging. So we know about it, we are proactive, and we really want to work with our customers. I think that's a message that we want to bring today. At the company level, if you really, here I'm looking at the group level, in terms of carbon black and fumed metal oxide, we already have years of experience with food applications. We even have some grades in the portfolio in fumed metal oxides, which are actually made for direct food contact, for example. So this is really something where there's really an expertise at the group level and also over all different regions. And we make sure that our products are registered where our customers are using it. I will come back to it, but we also have a high purity manufacturing. So just like I said, we have experts. We really partner with our customers to make sure that we have they have the right information to go forward and to bring products which are really safe and compliant into the market. We have our own standards, especially on carbon black, to meet US FDA polyaromatic hydrocarbons limits and other type of regulation. So that's really an expertise we have and that we can also bring and that to our customers. We also support the NIAS identification, so that's the these are non-intentionally added substances identification. So when you do chemistry, when you modify your products, you will have ingredients, side products, which can come from even the raw materials that you're putting in there. You don't want to have it here. It can be an impurity, but it can have a very negative impact in terms of food contact in your application. So this is something that we will look at very carefully. This is really a key parameter for our customers. Now, if you look at a high level, For our products, we're going to look at the statement of composition. We are going to make sure that, yeah, just as I mentioned, we will provide detailed information, like on impurities upon request. We also make sure that our products are not classified as others. That's quite important. It's all water-based, so the idea is to have the product label-free. There's also no CMR byproducts, so like carcinogenic, mutagenic, or toxic to reproduction. Same, we also avoid to have persistent bioaccumulative or toxic substances. And we always monitoring also the changes in legislation. We are part of the, we are aligned with the American Chemistry Council, the Responsible Care Program, and we're also in relevant working group around pigments especially. Now, again, if you go more into the food contact application, these are some of the regulation that people are looking for and really need to be able to compete or to be active in food packaging. So I'll mention here the Swiss ordinance is one of the main, which we hear a lot in Europe, and Nestle guidance, also quite important. Lately, we get more and more questions around FDA compliance. So to be clear, our products are not exactly FDA, do not have an FDA approval for indirect food contact. It's quite a complex situation. However, we can enable or provide thorough analysis to make sure that customers can still use a product in that case. Try maybe not to go through at a high level through an example. So how does it work? We have a partner who wants to bring an ink a packaging company who wants to bring an inkjet press on the market, and they asked actually our assistants to do that. They were not very familiar with the region where it was going to be brought in, and they also needed our support, especially for the non-intentionally added substance. What do we have in the process? But we go further than that. We also provide we provide advice and guidance. Yes, the expert guidance twice, we must be really expert, right? Which is supposed to mean customer support here. So what we do is we actually we help the customer to answer the question, but we also were really proactive in the sense that we brought them into contact with a piece of legislation that they needed to make sure that their product passed. So we really helped them to assist them to make sure what did they need to look at to comply with the regulation in the country where they wanted to be. So in the end, it was successful. They have a product that they can bring on the market, and they're also sure that the product is safe to be used. How do we do this, and how do we make sure also that we control the level of impurities in our product, and we make sure that it's always at a high level? We have an ongoing investment of $50 million in our factory in the US, and we invest a lot on filtration and purification. We also have a very advanced quality system to make sure that we can repeat and we can measure all components that are coming into our products. So this is really one key element to make sure that we are able to supply the products as our customers need for food packaging. Yeah, I think I'm already coming to the last slide. So I think the message that I want to bring today is that we are a partner. Obviously, we are not in charge of the migration testing. This is not something we do because we only provide the dispersion. The migration needs to be done on the ink level, on the specific substrate. But we really are providing support and expertise there when there are questions, because we know the different legislation. We have products which are designed with this type of application in mind, and we really want to make sure that we are proactive and that customers reach out to us so that we can really help them and make sure that they can bring the solution to the market in the right conditions. I think this is really key if you want to be successful. And this is the last. I'm here until tomorrow, so if there's any question, please feel free to reach out to me. Send me any questions you would have. Otherwise, I'd be happy to help you and bring you in contact also with our regulatory expert if needed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.